All right, this one, we're live and ready to go.
Like allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Roll call.
Mayor Brian Lewis.
Here.
Council President Roger Perry.
Here.
Councilor Jeff Hensley.
Here.
Councilor Adina Oliveris.
Present.
Councilor Joe Parsons.
Present.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor. Staff present. Alex McCadden, City Recorder.
And what's his name?
John Montgomery first.
Good old.
The others. Oh, great guy. Sorry. Want to make a motion to pay the bills? I'll second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Pretty accept the minute. Last city council meeting on March 16th. Have you noticed? I wasn't here. Nor was I.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. So this is the time to speak to the city council or mayor on any subject, including what is listed on this agenda, except for public hearing. Time limit is 3 minutes per person. Any public comment? No? Yeah, not right. We'll get to City reporters report.
Oh, boy. So I wanted to make sure we had an update for everybody who wasn't here last time. So we had a great presentation by the Brownsville City Administrator about a new advocacy initiative for small cities. The idea is that a number of small cities, especially in this area, think that we're not really being represented well in the capital by the League of Oregon Cities. So the goal is to create our own advocacy alliance that hires a lobbyist and then works for us in the capital. Because, well, if you all remember the list of legislative priorities we got from LOC last year, they were pretty
High population.
yeah.
Non-representative.
Yeah, I'm trying to say something as diplomatic as possible, but yeah, you get it. Yeah, so that is the idea. I want to put some funding forward to that next year, and we'll talk about it when we discuss the budget later. We approved employee compensation changes last time around. We also had a 1-year contract for auditing services with our current auditor. Their contract ended this year, but they kind of told us that right before it ended. So we didn't really have time to put in a new RFP, so we just decided to extend it for a year. We will put out an RFP this fall and try and find somebody who can start auditing for us. It is considered a best practice by the state to change your auditor every 5 years. We will see how many auditors are available this fall.
Thought we extended them 3 years, a year or so ago, it seemed like, so.
You might have.
It does, I thought, like I said, I thought we extended them out 3 years, but I guess it could have been 3 years ago, boy, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, it's been a long 3 years, right?
Apparently not. Well, yesterday.
Right. So there was a resolution to transfer funds from the LGIP account. Those funds transfer was completed afterward. I got jury duty. I got grand jury duty, which means that every Wednesday I have to spend a day in Albany, and it's not super pleasant. That means that it's a very interesting experience. It is a civic duty, one that I am very proud to perform as a citizen, one that I will be very grateful to longer perform once jury service is over. Oof. Yeah, so that means that Wednesday, the office is closed in addition to Monday, which isn't great for our citizens. So I wanted to see if you had any comments on how to address that. Could it be like we keep the office open from 8 till 5 the other days while I'm during jury duty? Right now it's 8 to 4, so it's an extra hour in the day for people to come by. I will say that since we've switched to online payments, that cut down our office visits by the public by like 99%. That was all people really came in to pay. And some guy came in to pay a couple of weeks ago and was like, "This is the only thing that I still do in person." I said, "We have online payments now." I was like, "Great, you're never going to see me again." So that's about all there is for that.
So, do you need the time to actually work
and get our projects done. And so is it more of that?
It's more of that,
Being
that it's
here
just kind of
for
like,
somebody?
yeah. It's just gonna make it more annoying. So that's really what it is, just like the lack of time. There are a couple of really technical projects I still gotta do. By the end of the month, they have to fill out our ARPA report for last year that says we didn't spend any of the money during that. Their year was like April to March. So we didn't spend any of the money by March, so we just have to say, we didn't spend anything. Period. We do expect to spend a certain amount of money this coming fiscal year. And the form to say you didn't spend any money is massive.
There's no way to just say no.
No, I wish there was. I tried, but and the other one I have to do is filling in a grant form to talk about how we spent planning grants last year. That's just paperwork, and then I have to write the budget.
So then it would appear you need the hours to get your work done, not necessarily have this open.
Yeah, I mean that's really all we're losing right now is just extra time to crunch numbers. So I can do it all. This was more like, do you want me to extend the hours that I'm here at least, in terms of keeping it open for people, or?
Can you do it just to remote?
Yeah, I mean it's just going to be complicated. So
I'm just saying, I mean, to Dean's point, I mean, you know, my view is if you kind of need the extra hours, I mean, it's one thing, but doing it as civil service, I mean, that's your, you know, basically affords you the time, you know, like in your regular work schedule to do that service. And,
yeah,
I mean, that's my thought. Like I said, I mean, I understand a lot of things that get done.
yeah.
And you just don't have enough time to do it. So
Yeah.
that's my thought.
I think the process of writing the budget will be a lot easier this year than it was last year because none of the numbers I'm going to work with are fictitious. So I think that's helpful. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think it would be fair then to leave it to his discretion of flexing time to maybe not keep the office open any later than it normally is, but take advantage of an extra hour here and there to get what you need to get done, but not overtax yourself. Sure. Sitting in the grand jury having situation.
As long as it's posted, people know that, you know, we stop and open it.
Yeah.
Couple days.
Exactly. And what I did, you know, I put out in the newsletter this month for the law that, hey, I'm going to be out because I've got jury duty. Yay. But I also put my cell phone number in there. I put that in there the first month that I got here, said, here's my personal cell phone number. If you need help outside of regular hours, call me and I will do what I can to accommodate you. And also just a reminder, if you need that, let me know. Yeah.
I think if you have to work extra hours to get on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you really don't want to give people used to coming in late.
Yeah.
And that'll be precious time that we're going to start.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, we had a great meeting with Peak Internet. They're owned by CPI, and they're going to be running cable to start building up broadband access in the area. Fiber. That's it. They're running fiber, not cable, not coax cable. They're running fiber. Yeah, fiber optic cable. So we talked about, I know there's an expectation since you're using our right of ways and everything, there's going to be an expectation of a franchise fee. So I wanted direction from the council about how much we should be charging them per year. I think ultimately we make around $1,200 per year from Comcast, and CPI is really just laying fiber. They're not really serving anybody in town. They need to run it through the area to reach people outside of us. Yeah.
So they're not going to be giving us this
They
option?
will eventually, but not for this part of the grant.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's coming. Yeah. Well, you got another small utility, so they're friendly out. They're trying to down and over here. All the parts with
Down, I just put it there now.
So, yes, I mean, if you're gonna franchise fee, yeah.
Yeah, I think the key here, like, say like, while they currently, I think the agreement would say, when you're just running fiber, if that's all you're doing, then we have just a flat fee for the year. Once you start getting customers, then we renegotiate the formula based on household service. Yeah.
And it goes kind of an understanding that they mess something up, they pay for it.
Yeah, that will go in a franchise agreement as well. Yeah. Well, I have complaints as far as it didn't make.
Different bills and, you know, they mess up.
Oh, good. Well, trying to get in touch with them after that was the biggest pain. Right? Yeah, well, now we do. Yeah, we're joking about that, but like, I've had to call them up and lie about what problem we're experiencing, just so I can talk to somebody about a real problem. Like streetlights were going out. Couldn't get anybody to talk about that. So I said, hey, our wells are turning off. Can you help? And they're like, what's happening? I said, actually, that's not happening. But can you tell us how we're going to get the light bulbs and the power lines replaced? So that's how you have to get a hold of CPI right now. Yeah, so
So is there a formula or a best practice from another city, or do you have some code book that would say what that would be?
not really. Lebanon, they sent us Lebanon's franchise agreement that they have with them. Lebanon's a much different animal, and there's a lot more fiber that's going to be laid over there. So I would suggest something like $500, $600 per year. Well, I've looked at those too. Like the nearest competitor is Comcast. Comcast gives us $1,200 a year.
But they actually give us service.
Yeah, they do.
We get a little bit more from that.
Yeah, we for franchise agreement with Comcast also says that we can get cable TV in city and at the school if we want. Let's see. What else is happening? Yeah, consumers power gives us like $1,000 a month. Republic Services gives us, I don't know, $1,000 a year. Century Tel gives us $114 a year. Northwest Natural Gas gives us $1,600 a year.
That's it, on 1,000, but they're less than 500.
Yeah. Yeah.
For our thing. Get it started, right? I might do that myself. Once I get this on. Peak was a very, very, very small outfit, actually, out of Pomona. That's where they kind of started out. So, you know, I'm surprised it's growing like they are. And there's Peak Internet, actually, is where I first started with that dial-up modem buzzing.
Make the coffee, calm down.
Get yourself into the contract.
Yeah, no.
For 17 years, I made fiber optics. The cable company. Gonna be better. Their speeds are more. And a lot of it depends, you know, I'm here with them. And there's so many companies out there building deep fiber because they're trying to cut down their costs, bringing fiber optics into some of these small towns and stuff, and the cheap fibers go down. You know, if you was seeing the process of how they make it, it would just blow your mind. How they make it, and if you, it's so easy to mess it up.
Well, they're just banking on the illusion of, oh, fiber optics. But it really not being the greatest product.
They'll never have this speed they come. Well, the big difference when we run the fiber, you've got a dedicated line. With your cable company, the more people that get onto your line, the slower you go.
Like the
But here on Sodaville, who's on? And I'm getting automatic. And it's not that expensive. I would now think we'll have maybe a half, maybe two. You know, so if you know the internet, and you're actually using it, you might not be happy with it. If you just go on and check and Facebook, you probably will.
Yeah. Last one I wanted to look at is possibly getting a credit card for the city or a debit card, something like that, to pay for a few bills. Preferably a credit card, because if we use a debit card, then our whole account can be stolen. There are a few things that just need to be paid for online with a card. That's our Walmart Straight Talk phone that we have, and now the account to actually maintain the cameras at the park. That's a service you have to pay for through Amazon monthly or yearly with a card. So I wanted to think about getting a credit card. The other option is that one of us uses it, me or JD or somebody else, and then we have to get reimbursed every month for what comes in. I've been getting reimbursed for the Walmart Straight Talk. But I feel like it would be a little more efficient to be able to pay for those few things with a dedicated credit card.
We talked about this once before.
It's something with the bank. It's something with the bank.
Yeah.
That was it. No, the first time, the conversation, I really, we didn't think it was a good idea. And the second conversation, I thought we 500 or 1,000 or something like that. And I thought we decided to go ahead and go forward with it, but I guess I didn't follow up to find out if it actually did happen. So you might check with the bank.
Can you put it with a debit card, put fraud protection on it? Well, you know, mine, if it's anything weird, man, I mean, it's shut off and you're on the phone.
Credit cards do that now.
Yeah.
A lot of them
On my
do.
debit card, that's, yeah, there's a limit. Hey, fraud protection, anything weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be in Arizona and all you just say, you don't think you're in Arizona.
Actually, I have the alert set up for the Chase account, so I get alert every time money goes to the treasury to pay a bill or whatever for the city.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think, we could do that as well too. One thing about ATM is the debit card. Sometimes when you put things online, there's a fee. I just got zinged by one the other day. So
By debit card?
debit card. Was it $2? Was it 1% fee for using my debit card?
I thought it's the other way around. That by debit card.
It was a surprise. I didn't know.
Yeah,
What would you recommend on that?
it wouldn't be a lot. I think the monthly payments for Blink are like they are $10 a month for Blink, and then the Straight Talk is like it's like 45 a month. Thereabouts. So it wouldn't be like a big amount. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. You need to put money on there.
I'm good with the card for the city. The city, they should have really relatively. And we have a lot of checks and sums, in process right now with an accountant, like yourself. There's a lot of, a lot of checks and balances.
There was something, yes, but it's a different world now. Right? When they want
We have a bank now. Judy and Stan was talking about doing that a long time ago too, and then we talked about it, but there's some reason why the bank would not, but
Yeah.
they're also a different bank. But I took him down to get him signed. I was just trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
see if they'll allow
Yeah.
it, and,
So that would be my plan. I'll go ahead and check with the bank, and then next city council meeting, I'll give you options and we can choose something then. This is just authorization for research.
Steiner's changed and all that kind of stuff. She had to call, yeah, so that was great. She's new to the area. Yeah. It's more than one bank.
It's true.
Yeah.
You did a very good job though, because he's trying to That's the same, you don't know what you're doing yet. Ask her any best, and you can make sure it's right.
Last thing for this would just let you know, there was originally gonna be an item for approving a street vacation. That ended up getting pulled off because we didn't get the fee in time. I also need to get a better administrative procedure in place for how to get a street vacation here because there are tons of state laws that need to be followed. Like the people applying have to go to all their neighbors and get written permission to do a street vacation. So, yeah.
They don't go on vacation. I'm like, did you make a mistake? We're going on vacation.
You know, I had this somewhere.
What it is basically is like, there's there's a road that goes like between two pieces of property or something like that, that's never ever gonna be accessed as a street.
Yeah.
So the 11 vacated for two property owners.
I can say that for
Absorb the.
Yeah.
So the city gives up real estate?
Yeah.
They do, and each property owner, I think, has to pay so much for to get it done. So you can right away. Yeah, so if there's a few of them around, they vacated, like they make it one, I should be there. And each property owner that owns property next to it gets half the street by the, before they want to cut it. And they got to pay the fee to get it done. Or if one party is not one, then party maybe they go from.
But with that being said too, so, you know, I mean, we're talking about looking at trying to put a well and stuff in. So if we wanted to use that street right away somewhere in the future to blow a pipe through there, we'd lose that ability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's put a restriction in there for an easement.
Yeah.
That's all that do, I guess,
Yeah.
you know, if you're gonna go down that route.
And is this the property that the guy said he might not be able to put a water?
I can't comment on that right now because there's been an application submitted. So if we talk about this specific thing, I'm not even gonna say which property it is.
Okay.
That can result in some problems. for us.
Okay. So it's on hold for now anyway.
It's on,
Okay.
so next
More to
city
be
council
discussed.
will have something in Habitat will come by and talk about their application.
No, you got the two brackets at the top of there, we left going out there, everything's not the other, you know. There's one thing, county was. That was it, that's it.
We can't talk about it. Yeah.
Because they are, they see the end of the street.
Moving on, yeah. All right.
It's an X name.
Public works.
5%. I completed the CPR, that I certify it, and so it goes out to everybody, and Alex can send that out in the next water bill. It has been posted down below on the bulletin board. Also, Alex, I don't know if I mentioned, but it was on the website too.
Okay.
And what's CCR again? Sorry.
Consumer confidence report for the water. The parks, Jackman and Signs going to the link camera systems. We have 2 cameras up on this parks working.
Thank you, Jack.
Oh, thank you. What about well corner? I reached out to Youth Bill. They are government granted through Lane County and the feds to do
Volunteer work.
well, to remove fire. Educating some of the fire hazard.
Clearing or something.
So they came out and they did a little bit of work down there, but they didn't follow directions at all. So I complained a little bit to somebody else. They heard about my complaint. They sent a manager out to meet with me, went and talked to the manager, showed him what I asked for them to do. And he was totally baffled why they did what they did as well. So then the main leader of the company came out 2 weeks later. And he walked through and he thought, I'm going on vacation. I'll have another crew come out here and they will clean all the brush for you. And I will be here with them. So, and this is free to the city. It's by the government. Also, the guy said, it's called landfill area up there. And he's all, you know, we got a flat trailer or a dump trailer. We can load that up town while we're doing this and get a bunch of your trash out of here. So I say,
Oh, that would be awesome.
Stand off with the biggest back out there, if you would let one, let one knock it out, clear it off.
better be in this school. Yeah. So what is that? DRT has been updated emergency response plan. I don't know if you guys drive around the community at all and check things out. You might go up and check out the Habitat house that's being built by the compound and see where the progress is on it regionally. Big water bill next year is the 5-year cleaning cycle for the tower, the reservoir. I reached out to 3 different companies, the one that you guys have used in the past. Liquidation is no longer in service. They were the only company in Oregon that did that. I reached out to a company in Washington, in California. There's a bunch, not a bunch, there's several in Texas that I could reach out to. There's several in Nevada, and then radically throughout the country. There's only like 11 companies that do this. And maybe right. Anyways, I got a list of the companies that do it. I've reached out to 3 of them. One of them has sent me back a bid. The other one has not. They said they could do the job. And then another one said they could send us a bid, but it wouldn't be accurate because they can't hold their bid for a year. So, but just so you guys are aware, it looks like it's going to be between $4,500 and $5,000 to have a crew flown in or drove in and their equipment and clean that tower next spring. Is there any other thing that we can coordinate with? Usually these companies coordinate the areas scheduled with you. So they're in the area already.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We get them, 2 or 3 jobs out here in the area since they're no longer in the state of Oregon, right? Maybe that's talking the blow.
We haven't had that. Yeah.
If
It is what it is. They go by the size of your tank.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's going to be something as fast as in the tank was not going to maybe when they do some touch up on it.
Today I got a hold of, I've been looking for this, finally Alex was able to find it for me. This was a report from 5 years ago when it was last done. And there's some screen issues and some interior coating issues. And I don't know if those were corrected or not, because I wasn't here.
Yeah.
And if those weren't corrected, then they've only gotten worse. And we will have to look at possibly shutting the system down for a while and getting the interior of that thing fixed and then bring the system back up, which is going to be a nightmare. So everybody do without water for how long for a moment.
And it's got faster than need to be addressed.
And this one's got a little bit worse than scratches.
Oh, yeah.
So
Nice one.
the other thing is last month, last year, we budgeted for $1,000 for me to get a man lift because I got pressure washed that tank. So next month I will be bringing a man lift or scissor lift, whatever, and going up there and pressure washing the stuff that's starting to grow on the outside.
You know, the safety harness and the tie off and all that.
Yes, the city bought me a safety gear some time ago, yeah. And usually those, when they deliver those, they give you the safety gear with them.
You're gonna fly.
The O&M operation and maintenance, I'm in the process of updating that. I think that's all I have.
Anybody want to speak on slowing down and so? the sheriff, I was still by the other day.
Trying to get it to work right. That one's been down for over 2 years.
I know it's a guy who's actually must get out of my car. I get out of town, so I know what's going on with that picture. Everyone else is against
Well, it's the one they had out before was when they recorded the speeds of the traffic over the one that's down.
I've seen a difference, especially in the early morning.
Yeah, there's a couple of cars that you can race through, but there's a couple of the dump trucks. Here. Schools can be around the corner, they don't care. It's the same thing when they were sitting over here, because they got around the corner, they didn't care. The one day they had to do it, huh? That worked out pretty well. Well, vehicles, I think they're running more nice than they did accidents like.
Yeah, gives me something like God, it's out 3 times in 2.5 hours.
Is that right?
Yep.
He's gonna get a bigger-
It's started in the morning, so yeah.
Nobody has any questions on it.
Yep. New business. Ordinance 23-. Ordinance 17.
There's a script.
Now open a public hearing to consider the ordinance. The hearing will be conducted as follows. We'll make the opening statement, spreading the ground rules. This will be followed by disclosures of actual interest on part of council members. City Recorder Alex McCallum will present the ordinance. Council members may ask questions of the speaker at any point in the hearing. The public will have the opportunity to ask questions during the public testimony. When testifying, please give your name and address for the record. For those of you testifying, please give testimony related to the application and as concise as possible. Although this is not necessary in most hearings, we may ask you to limit your testimony to no more than 3 minutes. Does any member of the audience have any objections to the city council first amendment matter? Does any member of the city council have a conflict of interest with regard to this request? If so, please indicate the nature of the conflict of interest and leave the conflict if necessary.
You all use city water.
Does any council member have pre-hearing contact with any party involved in this case, either for or against the proposal? If so, please explain or point to the plan. Motion to have.
I make a motion to read it. Ordinance 2303, amending ordinance 1701 by title.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Aye.
All right, ordinance 2303, amending ordinance 1701. The ordinance has been read by title. Alrighty. I think I have to present it first. Now that we read it by title. So we had talked about this a couple months ago about how to handle water restrictions. The idea is to give our public works director the authority to say, okay, water restrictions now. And then at the next regular city council meeting, the council will pass an ordinance, or sorry, a resolution saying, okay, water restrictions are now in effect. And then once he determines that they need to not be in effect, he can issue an order saying, yeah, they're not in effect anymore. And then at the next meeting, the council can pass a resolution saying they're not in effect. That's what that does.
I think the wish we could justify from that. Staff, anyone that is testified, once the hearing has been closed, only council members or staff may speak.
So the only question I might have on this is that. Authority to the water works. Is that in communication with the city mayor at that particular time, or is that just their discretion only at that particular time? I mean, what it's doing is it's preventing us from having to wait till the third week of every month, right? But I mean, it's not just a sole discretionary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody will know.
But I mean, we'll be in direct communication with the city mayor. Like I say, you're not always going to be the water director. You're not always going to be the mayor. This is going forward. So this is why I was asking this question so that, you know, somewhere down the road, there doesn't incur a conflict of interest or something like that.
It's always nice.
I mean, that's, you know, I mean, that's the only thing that I see that's not stated in here that will be communicated to the city mayor, blah, blah, blah. You know, and then, like I say, go to the next council meeting for approval, you know, so that's.
Gotcha. We can just work that as an administrative procedure to say we're going to contact the council, contact the mayor every time there's something that needs to happen.
Because when it starts dropping,
Yeah, we gotta have.
you guys don't know more person than anybody else.
Right.
Anyway, because I try to keep you abreast of those things.
I just need to private communication to, you know,
I don't have to-
existing mayor.
Yeah.
So that's the only admit that would be.
Mr. Mayor, you can look at
You've been notified.
Yeah.
We'll do that point. Be supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wants to use that? One in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yay, this is my favorite time of the year and everybody else's least favorite. I like numbers because I'm weird. All right, so this meeting is about identifying our budget priorities for the 2023 through 2024 budget year. It's not a budget hearing, just so everybody's clear. We need to set a date for the budget meeting. We need to recruit new budget committee members, and we need to talk about budget priorities. There are several that I've listed in here that we should discuss, and then I want to hear anybody else's budget priorities for the year. First off, do we want to talk about a date? It has to be in the month of May, so.
Other than. Done, May 31st. Seven three.
No.
Good, well, Tennessee, really.
No, actually. All right, so what was your unavailability?
Me, I'm unavailable the 19th to the 22nd.
Okay.
And we have council on the 18th.
22nd. Yeah, if I could have more time to do it, that would be good. So maybe later in the week of the 22nd. We'll just do it Thursday the 25th.
Right before Labor Day weekend
Memorial Day.
or Memorial.
So we'll all have a well-deserved day off afterward.
Yep. I think that's funny.
Mhm. And for May 5th. Alrighty.
And how many members do we need to recruit?
We need to recruit 3 more people. So there are 2 people whose terms end this year, and so Councilor Emeritus Jackman probably can't do it because he's going to have a water delivery contract. Otherwise, that would be great, but he's going to have to explain on everything. So,
I had to vacate mine.
yeah, because you are not council.
So there's, individual, independent person or their staff.
Yeah, so your seat was supposed to go through 2024 and it's now vacant. So whoever gets appointed to that seat will serve this year and next year. There are 2 seats that are up. Both of them will serve this year, next year, and the year after that.
Are they interested in doing it again?
You can ask.
Who do we have?
Yeah. So those 2 seats,
Peggy Jackman and your wife.
Wife will do it.
She's been volunteered.
yeah,
I wouldn't count on that.
I was thinking maybe.
I wouldn't either.
I'd have to ask him.
That's true too.
Yeah, don't volunteer.
She's on there,
Yeah. she's on there already. So
but like I say, may or may not be her.
Yes.
Possibility.
Right.
the former mayor Lori McCann, maybe. I don't know. The goal is
She's really, might be.
Sure. Well, you are all the politicians, so you need to find somebody.
I will ask my neighbor.
You.
So will I.
Oh, you
Not
did.
Lori, but
Oh.
we'll have to pay faithful and be allowed.
Well, so we could ask Peggy if she wants. Do you think Peggy would want to do it again, Rich?
No idea.
No idea.
Yes.
All right, next
I don't
up.
like to ask my son, but then again, that might be a conflict of interest because I'm on the board, but
No, that's fine.
Oh, then he's married to the other ones.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty common that in a small setting like this, people just drag spouses and go, okay, you're either voting on the budget committee today.
I can ask him if he was interested. I mean, he does do a lot of volunteer for the city here.
Yeah.
So I might be able to come in on that.
Like that's my mother-in-law, she just moved in with the family. There's options.
Cool.
Good. Well, go out and about and report to me, have them contact me if they want to do it.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, well, I wanted to go over some priorities I wanted to cover, and then we can ask for the council's budget priorities for the next year. We already talked about hiring divers to clean the water reservoirs, so we need about $5,000 next year probably to get that taken care of. We need to increase cost for consultants. Auditors rate increased. The 3 main consultants that we pay during the year are the auditor, the accountant, and the attorney, and we have already overspent some of those 9 items this year, so we probably just generally need to increase how much we're paying these people. We'll have an RFP for auditing services this fall that we'll know next year better how much we're going to pay. I did get the rate for our current auditor, so we know exactly how much is going to be paid there. The next step is that the auditor didn't like that we combined all of our funds into one because he says it made auditing difficult, and he thinks that we should bring it back to segregating the budget into 3 different funds. Our accountant disagrees with that judgment. I think that the difficulty in auditing really just comes down to difficulty in reading the books, not an actual real difficulty beyond just using software. For dues, mileage, and training, I wanted to talk about 2 things. One is increasing it by $1,000, specifically to fund our participation in the Small Municipalities Advocacy Coalition proposed by Brownsville. The other one is increases to dues, mileage, and training. This one is specifically for me to work on getting certifications, and increases related to me working on certifications would be tied to scholarship money. The International Clerks Institute and the Oregon Association of Municipal Recorders both offer very generous scholarships. And both organizations had a lot of scholarships that just weren't taken last year. So I intend to go and grab as many as I can. And if I get them, then I will be able to do this. If I can't get the scholarship, then I won't. So,
So explain to me, because I read this and I got confused.
oh,
So are you asking for more money? But then you said about going to get scholarships. So is the more money to augment what the scholarships wouldn't pay?
so the idea is that I want to attend a city recorder's conference. It costs $1,000 and there's a $1,000 scholarship. We would say there's $1,000 more in the donation revenue column, and then there's $1,000 more being spent in the dues and training column. So if I get that 1,000, then we can spend this. If I don't get that 1,000, then I can't go to that.
Based on the money, if we get it.
Yeah, and if I don't, that's the problem. Last year, we had enough funding for me to go to CAS, the Oregon City Clerks, and then the League of Oregon Cities. So this would really probably just be one additional conference. The other one would be looking at a membership in the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, and that is the organization that actually gives you your certification. It's $185 per year to get that certification. Or no, it's $185 to get that membership, and you can only get your certification if you pay that membership fee.
And are there any things that the public works director needs to add as far as conferences?
I can only do the one a year. I will probably go back to Seaside next year instead of potentially. It will be, Seaside's in like August, September. So if I'm doing that, then it will be this year. And then not going back to Sun River. And Sun River is a better, maybe I'll rethink that. Sun River was better for the networking, but it was not for transportation purposes.
Oh, it's similar.
But I don't know. I'll probably go back to.
Okay. Yeah, and you went to both this last year, right? Or the current?
You have to choose.
Yeah, it would have,
Yeah.
because it was in August or September and then, yeah.
Yeah, so
With our budget year being weird,
I know.
like it is.
yeah. So what we can say right now is if we don't make any changes currently, you can go to 2 conferences a year and you can go to 3. But there's money that's available to pay for one of the conferences that I already went to last year. I think I got funding to go. I actually got scholarship money for CIS and for LOC. So there was money coming in for those last year that was used to pay for those trips.
There's other funds that we can move out of to kind of move into that
Exactly.
title as well, right?
Yeah.
Just to, I mean, I see a couple of them right here that we haven't even already done. So,
Yeah.
Well, it's same like that going forward. I mean, we might as well move a little bit of money out of each one of those that we're not really
Yeah.
utilizing and put those into, educating our
Yeah.
employees.
Education and networking.
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah, we'll be doing a number of budget adjustments before the end of this fiscal year. Basically, there are a few that we've gone beyond the allotted amount. So what we need to do is cut some from the revenues and then move it over so that the auditor doesn't get it.
Yep. Yeah, we had it way better from that because you're all stuck there. Where all the side. So the fact is over, people are gone doing whatever they want to do.
And then there's Sun River's snowball thing, right? A bonding experience.
Do we have a fund for other conferences like what Dean goes to?
Oh, yeah. So this year, I think the only ones you've spent money on are like
It's
travel.
mileage.
Yeah, it's mileage. So
And not
that's,
even all of them.
yeah, that's been easy. So,
No. No.
yeah, if counselors want to go to some of these conferences like LSC or Oregon Mayor's Association, we could fit that into the budget as well.
I know I want to go to the OMA.
Great.
I think that was really helpful.
That was the training seminar you went to? Gotcha. There is like a big like state or like a week long.
No, nothing's on the weekend.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. All right, yeah, that one, I think you got, that was like just mileage, I think. Yeah, that's right, yeah. It
In the
wasn't
past,
that
I
bad.
remember hearing about the mayor getting sponsored for a lot of things.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if there's something out there, that somebody might want to go to.
yeah, I mean, if any counselor wants to go, LSB, you know, that's a good one, especially for new counselors to go to, is League of Oregon Cities. You know, we can work that into the budget as well.
Yeah, would be very like to do stuff. There are some counselors that really have, and city managers that don't have. So you look there.
No, this is just a list of things that I just make sure everybody's okay with me fitting into the budget when I write it.
Yeah.
So those are all of mine. Does anybody have any ones that they would like me to fit in here?
Yeah, streets.
Streets? You want to grab them? All right.
We can't. If you're not gonna do anything, we have, right?
Okay.
And I can't go on other. And probably some of the other people.
We were gonna take whatever money was left after PLC.
Yeah.
I mean, however.
Oh, we'll need to do that soon though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause this will start, going to get better.
okay.
Yeah.
Part. Yeah.
Yeah, them are almost. Holds a whole lot to me, and I'm about ready to just buy a dump truck ourselves, we're not buying one, but.
Right.
I just, I don't know, okay, I'll drop $500 and we have a dump truck. But.
Right. A loader pop.
Yeah, no, 500, that'd be about 3 loads. $20 dirty.
We got $46,000 that we can use for streets, so. Yeah, don't spend 500. Yeah.
That was my big complaint was the county. It's there.
I'm hoping when
Yeah.
It was a water hole.
Yeah, but you the nice work and gravel is pretty.
So Jamie and I will look at what we can do to make sure the money gets spent on the roads before the end of the fiscal year. And it's gonna be a lot of work, but I think we can get it done. And then,
And we might have local assistance or recommendations as to where and how to get it at a more reasonable amount.
whoever wants $46,000 can have it. Yeah, so there you go. But that being said, the idea is one, we'll figure out what we can do before the end of the fiscal year, and then what needs to be done next fiscal year, and make sure that money can be used for whatever we can't do in that one.
Just the people that live on it can be exciting to know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, trying to. Like that.
Yeah.
Well, how long is that asphalt street running in about 6 years?
Yeah. Then the road after, last mayor, couple moments after, working in the county council, he was one year great to create the county, he used to run the great county. And when this boy even got up there, man, he went down the streets. That isn't what I do anymore, that's the problem, getting greater out here to do stuff.
But we have the funds, we have.
Yeah.
the ability.
We'll find somebody with a grader and just bring the grader in.
There's those guys that do all the loggers, they're just floating. They got graders. Yeah, a few of them. One of the names of the operators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time they come to your shop there for repair, just kind of drag the creek.
Kids that grow up out here in Sodaville. And his dad.
Yeah, so those are two things we can do about streets. One, we can make sure that we already had to get that done before the end of the year. And then we'll make sure that we know what we can do now and what we can do next year, and make sure that there is funding to get more street improvements next fiscal year. Yeah.
Thing you might take in consideration.
So what would be the step on that?
I guess kind of getting back to the budget, those cameras that you provide to the city, is that on a large basis?
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what that was about. Okay. Is there any way like we could get, like maybe one or two added over here as well? To try to monitor a couple of things on this side as well.
And how about sorry, I thought you were done.
No. It's same, it's not budget that in, as far as, I guess,
Yeah.
you were kind of covering that.
No, so I think it is two things. Number one, we need a real alarm system here that works and it does something. And how about an air conditioner? Either maybe an what it was, thingy or whatever. Because I remember it froze and it was hotter than a son of a gun at some point.
Oh, yes.
Pardon me? That's the system, yeah.
Maybe get a price on that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we're talking about, but,
I see the night, right?
and that's the man for that.
You know, not everybody around this got a business. Well, you work on a drive, really, the whole. There's them just sitting there, what are you gonna do with them?
It's brand new, so, but it's like 10 times bigger than what this room.
Yeah.
If we can store bodies in here.
Yeah,
So
that's,
that's asking about it. System. I'll hit him up and, how many square feet is this building? I'll ask him about it.
Mr. Poole, self-installed, so
That's like $1,800.
I did.
Well, you go on file.
That's before the first one, yeah, what's up anywhere now?
last summer, City Hall got pretty hot. The only respite I had was turning that up to full blast and then opening the door, but that was like
Yeah, that didn't work.
barely.
And then,
Yeah.
one of the things that I had from Aqua, which I can talk about later, but do we need to upgrade our system for anything for cybersecurity? So talking about budgeting that. And we might have help with that, according to that guy from.
I might reach out to them and see if there's any improvements that are just generally recommended. We have cybersecurity coverage in our insurance. Windows in general is just the most insecure operating system in the world. There's really nothing you can do to make it any more secure that it comes out of the box. So unless we're running Linux on everything. And we can't do that because QuickBooks only runs on Windows.
And speaking of, are there any software programs we're gonna need to upgrade or update or replace? next year?
I think the meter reader software is gonna need to be updated.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't know when we're going this one.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I think that's the one that QuickBooks is gonna need to be updated. That's something we absorbed, like QuickBooks needs to be updated like every year. So we can do that. Yeah, I use Google Docs for everything, so that's that. Yeah, I have, I've got we've got two different ledgers right now. There's the QuickBooks one and the account list over, and I've got my own ledger. I have a list of all these expenses that we would be looking at and taking care of. So I don't have that answer to that question off the top of my head, but when I open up my spreadsheets and start straighting all these numbers out. Those are the things I will be looking at to figure out, okay, we spent this much on software, X, Y, and Z times, so we need to do that again, that kind of thing.
And let me be kind of right. I didn't know why.
I mean, that's why.
That was a candy that I read. There's nothing in it.
I don't know.
Water, not grain alcohol. You know, it would be nice at some point to like maybe paint this place and maybe have it look a little bit like more updated and clean and, I mean, I know that.
Like cleaning up.
Yes, I mean, it's more rural, but
It's from down there, it's for the water, JD keeps trying to plug, kind of pump it all the time.
I mean, if there's a budget for it, or heck, if we could get some kind of a.
Yeah.
I mean,
We run it out.
it's a little more professional.
Actually, your chairs are building.
I beg your pardon,
Your chairs are building.
is it rolling?
That's the only chair in this whole building.
What makes it chair legal and legal?
It's got 5 arms on it, not 4.
Yeah.
Rest.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
You just know I know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I put landscape on the like.
Yeah, no.
They can't come in here in a brown part.
I mean, I'm sure JD would love that.
I'm waiting for rain stuff, so I can take care of it. I can't drive a tractor down the remote because of just big ruts, you know, down there.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking about moving the art.
Sunning everything. Isn't it right?
You never know. You could do your stairs first. No, but if I never. And then, nothing else.
All right.
I got.
Any other budget priorities?
It'd be water. We'll talk about.
Well, yeah, water's already, yeah, we got lots to talk about when it comes to water. Yeah, that'll be, we may be getting an IFA loan and matching funds from the legislature, depending on how the next conversation goes. We just need to make sure we can use that water supply, so. Yeah, we'll make sure that money's in there. Yeah, exactly.
On basement.
Yeah, 1 second. All right, I want a city water supply. So to open this up, this was a very disappointing day. I had a call with Business Oregon. It was like, I can't find anybody interested in helping us out, you know, filling an RFP just to look at what would it take to get the well rehab plugged in. And they were like, yeah, we don't really know what to do either. Which is really unhelpful. They said, you know, have you even asked OHA whether you could even use this well as a starting point? So I said, go and make sure OHA is okay with that. And they said, of course they can't use this well, which is something that should have been asked by the city several years ago. Is this well even allowed to be used for municipal purposes? OHA said no, previously. But I asked OHA, what could we do to tap into that water source again or rehab this well? They gave us a list of things. I also contacted Business Oregon and said, do we have flexibility to kind of change what this is up? Like if we say, okay, we want to rehab this well, connect it. And they said, yes, you can totally use that money to get the well fixed up so that we can use it. So Councilor Barrett is there.
Someone is supposed to.
That works for me.
So there's options what we can do. If you read everything from the well on the council, you have any idea what's going on in 1970 when the well was drilled at Glancefield for 19 feet. The new code is 36 or 37 feet, so they won't apply it for the stream as system. So basically, there's some different options drilled alongside of it. Or overshoot the well, which is drilled a bigger hole into the 6-inch casing and 6-inch out and then put it. Seal it down to, you know. No, I wouldn't decide, you know, there was 3 different options, like I said, I will, since you did bother to show up tonight, I'll get it in writing with the proposal and bring it back up here so you go.
Okay.
His biggest concern was to do all the legwork to make it happen and then probably we have to put it out to bid. You understand that? So.
Yeah.
Might be the reason why the individual's not here tonight.
Have them give me a call.
So there's ways around that also. I think you and I talked about that. So I'll work on it and see what we can do. At this point, it's kind of disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was,
I
That was-
don't find that beyond disappointment.
that was,
Straight to anger.
yeah, me too. I'm like, it was just a simple check the box question that the city manager should have done as soon as that process got started, and they just didn't. And we
Well-
spent how many years and how many hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to fix that?
But the thing is, you have to remember, for those of you that have been around, that that individual didn't want anything to do with that one. How's that sound? You got them as a amount of people have that. So, you know,
You know,
Yeah.
we wouldn't still know that. That's all we had to do. So, I mean, we could have tasted another year and found out, you know.
Yeah, right.
So somebody directed you in the right
Yeah.
direction where we haven't had that direction in the past. So,
I mean, we could have been ready to drop a pump down in there and start making things happen and say, oh, wait. We can do this.
Exactly.
This is past our current code.
yeah, so we
It's
could have,
excellent that we found out, but it's
Yes.
extremely frustrating on how many years of money's been wasted.
Yeah, it would be nice to know, it's like you say, in hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, for nothing. We won't produce more water, I think, as far as what's there and what's available, I think it would be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it will do what the city needs. Yeah, from the testing we've had done, it's just simple that the well, the way it's constructed right now, won't pass OHA code. That's all, that's the drawback to right now. So basically, okay, so I'll get current price for what it's gonna take to bring it built. Current codes. And then you understand what it's like.
that's what we did. It was enough to supplement the water that we've been trucking in for the last,
Oh,
you know,
and
10 or 15 years. So.
it'd be way more than sufficient amount.
And that's what I mean, yeah. I mean, even for expansion in the future, if, you know, we know the city can't grow very much, but, you know, I mean, it was enough to supplement what we've been losing. So it's definitely worth looking into.
One thing I'm concerned about is if we have to go down lower than what we've got now, we have to go down, but those officers are not getting one.
We're down there that well.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't need to go any.
It's in casing.
Oh.
But just needs to be.
The problem is they have a field around the casing 19 feet. Now, a normal piece of section of pipe is 21 feet, so they drive it down in here, they seal it to 19 feet. Back in 1970, everything's cool. OHA says now it's 37 feet, so we have to go in with the first section of pipe, throw another one to it, and drive more down in. So the problem is the casing that's in there, it's been there since 1970, so.
It's not gonna move very street.
Well,
Probably easier.
if they overshoot it, 10-inch drill, they'll just make, but it takes time to go, because they gotta drill that concrete steel out of there. They'll drill, drill alongside it, and the other one's to drill, 3 feet away.
Yeah.
And get into the same one. So which is gonna be the better way to go. But there were three options that you thought figured out. I will get those three options on paper.
You know, so I'm wondering if there's a, if with his knowledge, is there a way that he would recommend it being a better well? You know, by drilling it one of the three ways.
Well, basically, all we want to do is we want to tap in right there. We just have to put it past the current code to make that
I
happen.
don't know much about that. I don't know if a bigger well might produce more water.
No, it's not. It's a bigger indication we put down in there. The bigger pump, the bigger the pump, you didn't want to drop a 3-phase pump down in there. You know, casing is not a lot of room to drop a 3-phase pump in there. I mean, up to maybe 1 horse, 2 horse, something like that. They put an 8-inch casing in that thing, and they can drop a 5-horse pump down that big.
It's really funny.
And then it would produce more. It'd have the capability to be a pump.
Well, for that.
Right. So how's that new pump house? Pump well and.
Not totally sure what we have to go through engineering.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
We had a cost estimate that was done a few years ago. And basically what Business Oregon needs is an updated version of that one. So I did finally find somebody who's interested in doing it. But the day that they said, yeah, we're interested was the day that OHA told me, no, you can't use this one. So that stalled a little bit there. They said their one condition for working with us was that certain former city employees are no longer employed here. And I said, they are not. And they said, great, we can work with you. So.
So, you know, there's other things that we need to take into consideration as part of the. Number one thing is trying to make the point back to you, how you gonna have to win, where you. Yeah, okay. The other thing that we do have that's rather convenient is 3-phase power is on Spring Street. So that's one thing that we do have. We just have to have CPI and. Yeah.
So just a little hiccup.
Yeah, but it's just all doable. But, you know, like they finding out somebody didn't check the box, you know, 9 years ago or whatever it was, we start to turn around with this whole thing. It's a great disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at this word, I'll go through, and does Ray charge us for water, right? Do you have like,
So-
have you guys talked about that?
We did negotiate an agreement that was signed several years ago. There's a cost we end up paying for the rights to the land. Or something, I don't remember exactly the wording, but the IFA loan that we get will cover the cost of.
So I mean, Ray selling it to the city.
Basically, yeah.
I'm trying to understand, get a copy of that. The check that the city wrote me, the $100 check, I don't know how many years ago, I think I still have it.
Gotcha. I think what we purchased was an option to use it, and then once we actually decided to go forward with it, then we pay a much larger sum.
$101.
Yeah. Counselor emeritus. A little easier for a former mayor, we can just stay on or on.
On.
Well, that's all the good news I heard for you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least one good thing, we're all still alive and walking, standing up right in center bars operating.
That's all I got.
Yeah, council reports is next.
So I attended the orientation for Upwell, and I wrote up some of the information I got to find your fight candidate, just like I was brand new, because last time we joined midway, so I just had a mini orientation with the director. And I won't read it to you, but there's a whole bunch of information on the programs. We got some extra flyers. One of the things that they said that they can offer us is potentially, they're only one person near Sodaville using Meals on Wheels, because I was really pushing for that. Who's actually using the service? So they talked about perhaps if we needed it, having Meals on Wheels come up to like the city hall and delivering food for people who, of course, are authorized on the program. They're trying to accommodate us to be able to offer it to more of our citizens. Yes, economic development, they might be able to help us with grant writing, and they also said there's monies out there for waters and stuff like that. Cybersecurity services, they talked about the whole thing with CIS wanting to have cybersecurity insurance and all the nation had to do, and that it might be advantageous for us to have like a assessment of what our threat level is and risk, and that there are some monies out there that help cities. And they were talking about one city actually got some money to upgrade their computers, et cetera, from the grant. So that would be nice. Transportation, there is an app and a website that would, a person can go on and say, I need to go to the coast. How do I get there from all the buses and all of that stuff? So there's a way for transportation to be easily accessed from the phone or on the website. And so much of it, you know, in Oregon is free. HR assistance, although I hope we never have to use it. They did say they could help us recruit people if we had to recruit people. I'm thinking more of the ad staff. But we were, all the heads of the departments were in this meeting and they were all talking about how can they help us. And I'm like, we're going to take advantage of everything we can if we need it. If you ever have someone who says, man, I need help, I need in-home help, I don't know what I need, I'm having issues, etc. There's a one-stop number, a 1-800 number. The person would call that and they would help filter them to, are they a Medicare, are they a Medicaid, are they income related, do they need protective services, do they need home care, what do they need? So that one stop, and I brought some flyers on that. I got a wonderful orientation book that had a lot of information about their budget and their vision statement, and I left it here if anybody wants it. And then I just have a question, totally away from that. So I heard about there being this new rule in Oregon that got passed in about people's RVs being their homes, and you can't ask them to move their home. Did that go through? Do we need to be proactive on anything if we have people starting to camp out in the park?
I think that
city street from the RVs. So I don't know if it's down there, that's.
I want to make sure we're compliant, but we're also proactive.
You know, I think that every county has different rules. I know down in, you know, my work locally in Eugene, down in their county, they will allow a property owner to rent things for a whole bunch of homeless trailers.
I don't think that's the cost, isn't it? They got he's cracking down, that's why there's people on about there based on, you can't even put a spare tire on your house even there for a week down there. But have citation on it.
It's in the city though.
Yeah.
City and county is different.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are working on some bills that kind of touch on this in the legislature right now. But not directly. They're more like agriculture related and fire related.
I just want to make sure we're not caught with our thoughts down.
Yeah. I think it's like,
No, I mean, the thing that's done now is that Boise versus whatever, what they,
yeah.
and the thing was, is you couldn't remove people from public property if there was nowhere else for them to go.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a big push for all these homeless encampments, because as soon as you can get those homeless encampments up, you can now say, hey, we got someplace for you to go, and then you can start moving all those people along.
Yeah.
So I think part of that would be like, you can't tell them they already can't be here, there ain't got nowhere point to go, right? But obviously Walmart's not allowing it, that's like and that used to be, they used to let people.
Yeah.
Stay, but
Yeah.
so highly doubt that. But I know what you mean about being proactive or they can try to.
We just want to be compliant, but proactive.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really their decision, that's publicly owned, right? I mean, it's not officially owned, it's publicly owned, so I mean, you own just as much of that as I do, and you know, I mean, it's just.
No, I mean, that was
right?
that, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the generic law that they passed was because of that court case. But yeah, I mean, that was public property. We all own it.
Yeah, I like to see everything. These things are makers property, that's what they do camp, so they do have an alternative from camping on public streets, so they could go to the state capitol.
Yeah, it's great.
That's how it can.
That's something kind of a lot of. Yeah, no, you say, you go for your house, you camp there, if they're good with it.
Governor's house is public property.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So there's places we can send them to. It's all right. It's no public road in front of that gate, so.
Yeah.
Like I say, we have a place we can send them to. Anyways.
And again, I'm not saying anything pro or con, just being
I'm just.
compliant and proactive.
I agree with it. We don't.
I can tell you what Billings, Montana does. They buy them a bus ticket to Portland.
Yep.
I know.
No, that's true. I know people that live in Billings.
We did that a lot in California too.
Portland buys them bus tickets to wherever in Oregon they claim they have somewhere to go without verifying anything.
That's like Texas and all, they it's been to Washington DC. I've seen how that is too. They got the day before, we can show up.
Public comment, right?
Any comment? Yeah. I think about the dogs that all have loose.
As they know.
I got those.
Yeah,
Okay. License.
well, that's what I'm wondering, really.
Is unagreeable, because you're supposed to have a kennel license if you get them by.
Do we have that in the city though?
Well,
Because I think we
don't know.
did that before.
I don't know if it's a city by city thing. But I think that if you look in the county is gonna require either a breeder's license, because I used to be a breeder. You're gonna either have to have a breeder's license or you have to have a kennel license. Now, we do have a kennel in Sodaville, and she is licensed. But I would doubt that these people are licensed with the kennel.
I think they just had loose babies.
They had new babies and they couldn't get rid of them, so they got 10 of them. And the neighbor has been writing up quite a story about them.
Yeah.
I think it was, it just been reading it on the buzz.
Oh,
It's considered that the dogs are just tearing their house apart. And they're not even supposed to be living in that house because it hasn't got the occupants. The house doesn't have no.
no, that's.
My understanding is that contractors, not from the manufacturer to take care of the problems, like busted sheetrock and stuff. They basically face the people out because they're not, as people to work with at times. But the county won't give them occupancy. I know at least until they have the guardrails on their steps. And that's what I keep looking every time I drive by. They don't have that, so I know they don't.
I don't know what's the thing. The building department,
Building department.
and then the, and under control, but they got Sodaville. There's people behind. But because there's something to learning all.
Is there, I noticed that the gentleman up the road, there's only one RV there left now. This RV is still being lived in, is still
So
being.
they should still be living in them.
Right.
No, they did file a permit, so
Right.
I don't remember. The permit blank those, I think.
I mean, just to be.
I think it's a
consistent,
year for the first one, and then after that, it's every 6 months, and it's been
a year for the first one.
it's filed in April of 2022. So April 2023.
I didn't think the first permit was good for a year.
Yeah. It's in there. I don't know.
Well, I don't say it was 6 months, but.
It's fairness and consistency.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, Other public comment, somebody's doing a presentation at the Lebanon Library next month about the history of Sodaville. And nice, yeah, the people who are doing it came by Sodaville and City Hall and they looked through over historical records and we gave a walk through of the building over there and yeah, it was the great granddaughter of the guy and the
So it must be, Coyle.
yeah, one of them's Coyle, the other one's here. Yeah, that came by. Yeah.
I wanted to go talk to you, but apparently they didn't.
Oh.
I used to be short, used to have good, be good friends of course, man, but that's
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, they said, one of them came here with their grandchildren recently to play at the park and she drank out of the spring. And, the kids were like, Grandma, don't do that. And she said, I've been doing this my whole life. It's not good.
You won't be alive.
I don't know about that, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so good times. Good times.
When's that, cemetery over there?
for sure. Actually, close, I don't say I can't find spots.
I thought that was. Oh, no,
Yeah.
cemetery.
Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. Now, the other thing I'll tell you, that's actually the city state.
Did we own that?
No, it's still accessible, but it's the guy that owns the right in front of it. I talked to him years ago. He said, you know, that we go across the property, but you go. Up front, down, you walk up the power lines, you walk back behind there, and it's okay, you got the power lines from the top basically.
Gotcha.
He's gonna get that out.
Yeah, right. Do we need to start a cemetery district? That'd be easier. Just give it to them.
We don't.
Yeah, I think, property is not, the guy who owns the property, but actually, let people access it. That cemetery is kind of hard to get to.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you get a chance.
It's very counting.
Over as a kid. Good times, yeah. Oh, the cemetery. Yes.
We used to go there, chase it down that all the time. And,
You go past that. You go first. It's almost you're right. You're heading out to the master and then.
Ready for adjournment?
Yeah, that is the emotion. That's right here.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, and 1 second.